the DaVinci Code, angels and demons seen through the clergy itself. I've seen the same thing for Conclave. It is a mystery. Right? I love religious thrillers. I like supernatural thrillers. I'm all in for those.
This is a conclave, Aldo. It's not a war.
It is a war.
No sane man would want the papacy.
The men who are dangerous are the ones who do want it.
Ralph Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow talks about the process of choosing a new pope.
This sort of reminds me a little bit like if it was the DaVinci Code, angels and demons seen through the clergy itself. It is a mystery. Right? I love religious thrillers. I like supernatural thrillers. You know, the religious thrillers. I'm all in for those. These are definitely four of my favorite actors right here. So this is a no-brainer. And the director of the movie is Edward Berger, who did All Quiet on the Western Front. Was a devastating great remake. And they won a ton of awards. I see the same thing for Conclave. If it strikes the public's eye, I definitely think there has to be a good mystery in here. It can't be just slap hazard. It's got to be a really involved mystery, and it can't be one of those where the obvious bad guys there. Like here comes the acting pope. Oh, he's the bad guy. We don't need that. We need to be seriously surprised by who the bad guy is. So the acting is going to be solid. It's going to be great. Ralph Fiennes, of course, he did really well last year with the Gourmet movie. He came in there and yes,
Menu.
I mean he was fantastic. The Menu, he was fantastic in that. You know, it's like wow, that's cool as hell. And of course, Stanley Tucci. There's so many movies that he's in that's great. I was just hooked by the cast. I like the fact. I like the idea of a priest out there solving a mystery. I think that's just to me. There's something intriguing about that. I'm not a Catholic per se, but I'm very curious to see how they go about catching whoever's doing this without guns or violence.
You know, and it's not fair to this film, but when I saw the trailer for this film, I couldn't not think of Angels and Demons. That wasn't an awful film, but for being related to the DaVinci Code, but it's a sequel prequel, so it's supposed to take place before the DaVinci Code, and Tom Hanks has a weird haircut, and for whatever reason there's a nuclear explosion over Vatican City with Obi-Wan Kenobi parachuting in at the end when they're choosing a pope. Like, what? Even that sentence of me doing a spoiler recap of a film that came out 15 years ago, it's one of those where, you know, you see the film and you're like, for being based off a real life practice that one of the biggest churches in the world practices when choosing a new leader, that process should be fascinating and interesting in and of itself. We don't need a nuclear explosion with a parachuting Jedi to keep it interesting.
I know people were, but you know, though, I have to say though, that movie was exciting as hell. I remember seeing it with my wife. I remember seeing it. I've seen it with my wife, and they're chasing around the bomb to find the bomb, and the scene where the one person is thrown inside the water, and they're drowning, and Tom Hanks is like, help me, you know, is Robert Langdon screaming to help, and he's pinned underneath the water, and then they pull back on the shot, and you see all these people come over there, lift it up and save the man's life. I got freaking chills down my spine. I'm going like, that is amazing that's an amazing film, scene in a film. They could have been a little bit better, but that scene though is one of the best scenes. That's what I remember mostly about that movie. It showed that you can do religious thrillers. You can do a good religious thriller with good action and intriguing characters and not be called religious.
Obviously, both you and I are influenced by the Dan Brown films, the Da Vinci Code films. How does that inform how you look at this film, Conclave, and what you're expecting from it?
I'm expecting a cerebral film. It's not going to be like the Da Vinci Code or Angels and Demons in terms of running around and, you know, jumping out and jumping in the planes and running through the cities. I think it's going to be more cerebral. I think it's a thinking man's mystery. Who had means, who had opportunity, who had motive to sabotage the process. And I think that is really what's going to be. That's really what's going to be here for this film. It might be the reason why it's going to be, probably a lower budget film per se, because of the fact they're not going to really. I don't think they're going to really depend on special effects or big explosions or anything else like that. I think it's going to be set in a small area. I'm all in for that. I want to see that more than I want to see people running up and down. I know that people will say, "Well, I want to see action." Well, you will, but you're going to see action coming from here, not necessarily from here.
Well, and different things come out in different films. This looks more like an internal monologue type of thing where we're not going to get a fist fight in the bridge of a spaceship in this film. This is a film about choosing the next pope. Clearly, they spent the money to go shoot on location. I don't know whether they shot in Vatican City or not, but the locations that they shot on for this film are beautiful.
I think they got approval from the church for that, because I don't think without the support for the church, I don't think necessarily you would see such precision or such, the uniforms being so perfect. I do think they got support from the church.
I'm not planning on watching this film in theaters, but it does look really well done, and I wouldn't be shocked if the O word, if there were Oscar nominations coming from a film like this. This looks like a film that could, I wouldn't say it's an Oscar favorite for nominations, but it definitely looks like a film that could get a stray nomination here or there, especially for cinematography.
Oh, yeah, cinematography, probably costume, set design, that sort of thing. The technical awards. Could it get a Best Picture award? I mean, if it's an independent, they probably won't make it onto the best list because Oscars are bought these days, not earned. So I don't. I would hope that it gets a nomination based on its merit, and that they won't have to campaign necessarily to get their movie on the list. Hopefully, it gets there on its own merit.
I wouldn't be surprised if this film directed by Edward Berger were to get a nomination here or there. I don't think
I wouldn't be surprised either. It's not filled with a lot of young stars up and coming. Like we could have made this into an action thriller with a brand. They didn't go that route. There's not going to be any daring do Channing Tatum or Ryan Reynolds. It's going to be, so like I said, it's a thinking man's mystery.
Yeah, they're definitely going with the old guys here, and if Stanley Tucci is the young character, there's definitely an older cast, a legacy cast, if you will. So what about Conclave? Does this look good to you? Does this look bad? Does it look kind of or does it just look like a cheap imitation of a Dan Brown novel? I don't know. I let you decide. I think it looks like it's well put together, but let me know what you guys think in the comments section below this video. Also, be sure to click somewhere around in here. There is another video that the algorithm thinks that you will like. If it's one of mine, maybe click on it. But if you do, it helps out my channel with the algorithm. And why I'm speaking like this, I don't know. So please consider doing that. I've been Dragon Movie Guy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.